Welcome to Brokers of Secrets. Now, I've been working on a document that explains the values better, clearer, simpler than ever. And it will, as I explain, it will help you understand why we created the profiling tool that I mentioned in the previous episode. I'm going to go through 1 to 8 value levels and explain, at least big picture, and maybe a little bit of details on what's actually a value level, what's inside of it, and why would you care to know? First off, why would you care to know? Well, because this is by far one of the most useful, most accurate, most powerful profiling system that has been built, especially when it's baked in with the upgrade system, as well as all of the loops that we have come to understand. And basically, we built the matrix for it, right? But before we built all of this, values and understanding value levels was already one of, if not the, in my opinion, most accurate profiling tool of someone's unconscious behavior, specifically their unconscious behaviors, beliefs, actions, emotions, all that. Now, the reason I want to explain to you today and why it's important to you to understand values is that if you understand values, you understand what actually motivates people, what actually drives people to do. Even if you don't want, I'll give you an example. Even if you don't want to pay the water bill, but water's important to you, isn't it? You will find a way to pay the water bill or get water, because it's of a high value inside of your survival value. So inside a value, there are subfolders, basically. You can think of it like that. There's a value, it's a big category. Maybe it's your health, maybe it's your romantic life. Those are categories of value. And then inside of that, there are subcategories or subfolders. And inside of those subfolders, there may be another layer, depending on how deep you want to go. By understanding how these values and clusters of them form, we came up with, and it's we, not necessarily just us here at Upgrade, previous to us putting this profiling tool together, there were already value levels established and understood by the study of spiral dynamics. However, we have simplified and made it easy and clear for you to understand in this episode, so you can see how you can benefit from this. Now, I will go layer by layer, level by level, and explain to you what each of the value levels are, because the value levels basically are the clusters of values allowing us to predict clusters of behaviors for an individual or an organization. Something else to keep in mind is that values is like, think of it like the content inside of a cup. If you put a hot, like let's say it's hot tea in this cup outside in a hot summer day, it'll stay warm for a while, right? If you put this hot cup of tea inside the freezer or take it to the Nordic in the winter, put it outside when it's freezing, it will cool down really fast. Your values has a lot to do with your environment. Your values has a lot to do with your perception of the world and how you interpret reality. So by understanding your value, it gives us data not only on, once again, behaviors, subconscious actions, reactions, emotions, and all that stuff, right? Belief, behavior, we already talked about that. Instead of just that, it gives us insights into your perception of the world, your filters, how you actually filter reality. It gives us insights into your environment. Now that's huge. So without any more talks on the why and we're going to dive into the what it is. So value level 1 is about survival. It's about safety. Think of it like a caveman who don't know what dangers out there. Everything could be dangerous to them. Their main focus is survival and safety. Now, at this level, life is about avoiding danger, getting through the day, and making sure your basic needs are met. You're alert, you are cautious, and you're careful. You want protection. And risk is too scary. So to you, what you value in this level? Security. Security, rules, and order. You want to be governed. You don't know how dangerous the world is. You feel like you are constantly needing to survive. Have you ever met someone that's like, I'm just getting through the day, surviving? There's a lot of value level 1 being exhibited there. Now, what's important about value level 1 is if you can give them protection and security, right? If you can give them survival, they will be so happy. That's all they want, right? Now, we don't have a lot of value level 1 in this world, to be frank, but you will find sometimes, individuals that are not doing well, not just financially, but health-wise, their body will revert back to the survival state. You can also consider that a lot of young children may be in value level 1. That's part of their evolution, right? They are just wanting to survive, right? When they're babies, right? So as you understand value, you can look at it from a micro, like individual standpoint, and the macro in society, who as an adult may be value level 1, right? And if people got really unwell, again, they could revert back to that. Or if people lost all their wealth, lost all their money, they can revert back to value level 1 to survive, right? They lost their job. They want to survive. They lost their marriage and they got nothing. They have to fend for themselves. They have to survive. Value level 1. Now, value level 2 is now tribal. Let me give you a little bit more explanation. At this level, what you're wanting is loyalty, belonging. You want to follow the rules, and you want to stay loyal to your people. Now, these are, value level 2 are people that it doesn't matter if the rules make sense or not, they will follow. And here you care about being part of a tribe, a team, but you're not the leader. You are a follower. You are part of this belief system. You like having clear set of rules and expectations to follow. Traditions matter. And this group of people will do anything to stay a part of the tribe. Now, you can look at it literally, like a lot of entrepreneurs or business people are like, which tribe are you in, right? There are clearly tribal thinking involved when they are saying actually that, right? Also, there are certain organizations from different legal or illegal organizations out there that may operate like a tribe, right? Now, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm not saying it's a good thing. It is just their values, right? And traditions matter. This group of people will find comfort in doing what's expected and being seen as a good person based on the group's perception. Yeah, whatever good means to that group. Now, you do notice this a lot in teenagers. Value level 2 wanting to fit in to a tribe, right? Fit into a clique. Now, what's important to understand about this is that if you're listening and you're a teenager and you understand, oh, now that's why I feel this strong sense of wanting to belong, you can begin to understand that there are ways for you to have greater social success by understanding not only your own value, but others. If a lot of people you interact with are tribal in nature, how do you become a tribal leader? How do you fit in if that's what you want, right? So there are different ways to interact there. And in business even, a lot of new employees will be very tribal because they want to listen to the manager, the leader. They want to fit in, right? And you also find this culturally in certain places around the world where even they could be highly advanced and technologically, but the people just want to fit in and conform. There's a lot of value level 2. And and also religious people. There are a lot of religious people around the world that are highly tribal, and they'll do whatever the tribal leader says, not necessarily with their own decisions. They don't really care what's right or actually wrong. They will do what the leader says because what's right to them is belonging. And belonging and loyalty is top value to them, right? So for you, you may be from a different value level and you might be like, that doesn't make sense. I don't understand why someone would do that. That's clearly wrong, but they're doing it, right? So cults are oftentimes formed that way. The followers are tribal, yeah? Now, let's move on to value level 3. When value level 2 realizes, oh my gosh, I could form my own tribe. I need to be a leader, or I need to go pave my own road. Just like a teenager says, it's time for me to go out on my own and create my own success, right? Value level 3 is interesting because there's power and strength involved, but the ethics behind things may not be there. They'll say, I'll take what I want and prove that I'm strong. They want to be seen as strong, right? This level is about control, dominance, and getting ahead. And this group of people, right, if you're one of them, you trust your gut and believe in acting fast and bold. Now, this is actually a highly, highly, highly entrepreneurial value level. I'm not saying they are necessarily successful, but this is the group that oftentimes go and start their own business. This is the group that's often like, I'm going to go, again, pave my own path, create my own venture, right? So you like to win, you like to stand out, you like to overcome obstacles by force or strategy. You're not here to wait. You move, you take action fast. Now here's the interesting thing. A lot of new money, new wealth people are in value level 3. It's their first time stepping out of the tribe that doesn't have a lot of resources to build their own wealth. It's the first generation wealth. They're making it the first time. Even if they act elegantly, they may have a lot of value level 3, which value level 3 can come with aggression. You may notice this person has a lot of aggressive emotions, maybe anger, maybe certain feelings that there could even be fear, right? Because it's their first time. Their neurology is not stabilized in wealth. So a lot of new money are made in value level 3. Now, value level 3 realize, wait a second, success is great. And being able to show it to the world, that's cool too. But sustainability is key. They've come to realize, wait a second, I actually need something that sustains and perseveres and actually lasts, right? So, and they also don't want target on their back because value level 3 did whatever it took to get to the top, get to wherever they were. There are people that may not like them, right? There are other value level 3s that want to take them down, right? So they begin to realize it's time for a systematic success. They're looking at discipline and success, right? In value level 4, they're interested in not only working hard, but they want to follow a system. And now some of these people actually, and if you look at teenagers going out to the world to create their own thing, maybe it's just college, right? To go pay for their own path. Maybe it's after college. But then eventually maybe they join a business, they join an organization, they join a religion. Value level 4 is about discipline, it's about success, it's about control. You believe that if you do things the right way and follow a plan, you'll be rewarded. If you worked 30 years, 20 years, you'll get your golden watch, your retirement plan, and hopefully your mortgage will be partially paid off. Discipline, responsibilities, again, and doing your duty matters most. You respect rules, but not because someone said so, because they help you win the right way. To this value level 4 person, it's really easy to spot. They are very much about what's right or wrong, what's righteous, what's evil, and what's good, what's bad. It's very, I would say, binary. Now, nothing wrong with being binary. This group is the backbone, the structure of society, the systems, right? From religion to government and a lot of things. Whether you like the system or not, this group is the system. And the system is necessary in many ways. And it actually creates sustainable success and predictability to our economy, to our success, to our safety, to a number of things. Now, in Value Level 4, and if we take a more micro approach, meaning perspective, meaning approaching this and understanding, if an individual get to Value Level 4, they might be working in corporate. Maybe they've built their own business. They're successful. Now they incorporate this very corporate structure, and there's a system, like system of governance. They begin to realize, wait a second, I want freedom to do things my own way, right? Now, more traditionally, the most successful entrepreneurs are found in Value Level 5. They're interested in freedom and innovation. They may have done corporate before. They maybe have tried to build a startup previously, but it failed or it plateaued or it was not going anywhere. It grew to an okay number. Maybe they sold it. And then they rejoined an organization, or they got really disciplined and they started building system. And in Value Level 5, they learned to leverage systems. This level values creativity, independence, freedom, and personal achievement. You love optimizing, exploring new ideas, and finding better ways to do things. You're a visionary and you want to build systems, businesses, or movements that reflect your style. Now, I strongly recommend that you surround yourself with Value Level 5 if you want to create financial abundance. Whether you have built financial abundance and build an empire, or whether you are building an empire, right? And or if you're wanting to preserve your empire, because guess what? This group is the most reliable group, in my opinion, to work with, to do business with, and who knows? They may become one of your clients. They may become one of your investors. Maybe they will become a business that you invest in. I don't know. What you'll find is this group has already understood or come to understand the systems really well, and they know how to build it. They know how to leverage it because they understand how to be flexible and how to create win-wins. In Value Level 5, this is actually where true win-win begins to occur. And this group, also easy to spot, but if you don't know what you're looking for, you may think a Value Level 3 as a Value Level 5. A lot of people that are Value Level 3s will dress up like Value Level 5, but Value Level 5 typically aren't as dressed up. Value Level 5 are masters of their systems. Value Level 5 made it, and they can make it rain anytime they want, and or even when they're not thinking. Now, the transition into 5 is not always easy. However, Value Level 5 is a very desirable place to be if financial abundance and ease is what you want. But again, think about it this way. If you haven't gone through the value level, you don't jump. So you must learn discipline, structure, system before you get to 5, because that was 4. And before you get to 4, you need to learn how to go out on your own and take risk and win and go after what you want in 3 and claim your power, your personal power, right? And guess what? If you are to learn about personal power, you probably were in Value Level 2. You need the personal power to get out of the tribal mindset. And if you're in tribal mindset, you're always going to be at the mercy of the system, of the leaders, of who knows what goes on in the economy. If you want to actually dominate in life, get to 3, 4, and 5. If you really want to not only have the system behind you and support you, but leverage it, get to 5. This is why people don't understand how the rich get richer. And this is why some of the rich don't know how to stay rich, because their value levels are a mismatch of their level of wealth. You have to adjust your value levels to the level of wealth that you desire. Yeah. Now let's talk about value level 6, 7, and 8 a little bit more briefly. This is definitely a lot less in population size, so we're not going to spend as much time there. Value level 6 is about unity and contribution. They're the group that want to help other people and live with purpose. They care deeply about meaning, relationships, and making a difference. And they think about how their action affect others and the planet. They want harmony, emotional intelligence, alignment between their internal and external world. They're the folks that might be meditating a lot. They might say, the answer is the spiritual. They have become this group is very spiritual. Now, here's the thing. Do not mistake value level 2 who are tribal and superstitious, or value level 3 that are just going out, building a business based on spiritual practices, but they don't really fully understand it because they haven't mastered the physical, as value level 6. Value level 6 have mastered the physical already. Now they're on to the spiritual. They're on to the realms beyond the physical. Before you master these other realms, the physical realm is important to master. And so a lot of people mistake those who are broke and are always meditating as, this is a high value level. They don't care about anything in the world. They are such ascended beings. Now, there's a difference between someone who doesn't have mastery in the physical world and just use meditation and or spiritual works as an excuse to not actually do the work and overcome the challenges inside of their psyche. It's not fair to think that they're value level 6. Value level 6 is a simple question. Have you made it financially previously, right? If they've maybe sold a $100 million company or even a $50 or $20 million company, they've made it. They have passive income. They never have to work again. Value level 6. Now, could you move to a different country with a income that may seem pretty normal here and experience like a value level 6 life because you have true abundance there? It's definitely possible. Again, remember, it's the hack here is environment, shifting environment. So if you leverage your environment and go to a different place, leveraging the same income, you could experience value level shift quickly. But you also got to remember, if you go to a place that has lower value levels and you're like, I'm going to live like a value level 6 or 5 in a value level 2 country, you're mistaken. So it's not as easy as it sounds, because if you move to a value level 2 place, it's like putting a hot cup of tea in the freezing cold. It will cool down. It will pull your value level down. So remember, it's about the balance of finding leverage, and your environment needs to be where you want to be. Now, value level 7 is about integration and flow. And a lot of entrepreneurs and successful individuals they're obsessed with flow. And that's a good crowd, right? And you may say things like, I move with wisdom. You see, you actually do, right? And you see patterns. You trust your inner knowing. This group not only has mastered the physical, they've already done a lot of spiritual work. And at this level, you're not chasing success. You are already aligned with what matters most. You integrate lessons, you trust timing, you move with clarity and ease. You don't just solve problems, you dissolve them. You're here to evolve and help other people do the same. You're already successful. You've already made it financially. You're here to create systematic change, perhaps at a planetary level, or at least national or societal level. This group is rare, and don't mistake value level 5, who are leveraging the system with a mission that's really advertisement worthy, as value level 7. This needs to be a real passion for them to actually elevate the planet, the society. They're not just saying that because of money. They actually already got the money, right? So it's rare, but they do exist. And then value level 8, they're about legacy and consciousness. They're about not just this planet, but the universe. They create new realities that last beyond them, right? These are the people that built dynasties and beyond. And this is the rarest level. They think globally and generationally, right? That's why in our trainings, we first profile where your values are and what loops you might be running that prevents you from evolving to the next value level. But also, we empower you with skills to build, expand, and preserve your empire. And of course, some people jump in just to learn how to preserve their empire. Some people jump in just to learn how to build better, right? But there's a common ground here. Everyone is interested in actually creating generational or global changes in terms of positive changes. They design systems, cultures, or technologies that outlive them. Their decisions shape the future. They live on purpose and act as a steward of humanity's evolution. Look, there's probably some strategy. There are some strategies that hasn't even been considered, at least not by the majority, that these people are considering. And maybe these strategies that hasn't been considered literally could make the world so abundant, so amazing that everybody that lives here now can have more abundance. And the world will become better for every single person in their version of reality. These people are thinking about that. These people are thinking, how are my kids going to prepare their kids, even when their kids might be toddlers? They might be thinking, what language does my grandkid or my children need to learn so that they can be in the right circles? What school should they go to? They're thinking decades in advance. They're thinking about researching what relationships they need to have 10 years, 30 years, 50 years from now. They understand that. They understand, because think about why the old monarchs marry their children to other monarchs. They're planning ahead, allegiance, alliances. They are thinking hundreds of years in advance. We need to understand that in the Western world, oftentimes we're thinking quarterly instead of, how about the next decade, 2 decades, 5 decades, 500 years? How about we think about the next 1,000 years or a couple thousand years? If we can begin to zoom out, we will notice our actions become more harmonious, more integrated, and more abundant for all. And I look forward to hearing you taking the profiling test and letting us know where you are in these values and allowing us to help you integrate, help you implement what we do, which is to upgrade your neurology. And of course, the whole point is, how can we help someone live a life that they desire, that they can do by design, and remove all of the obstacles? And I'll leave you with this thought. See, a lot of people say it's act as if, but the key point is, and I've said this previously, it's about not acting as if not. Because think about it. If you act as if, you are adding a behavior or a belief or communication or something you do in addition to an entire clusters of behaviors that you may be doing that may actually be detrimental to what you want and the goals and the outcomes that you want. But if you don't act as if not, you are eliminating all of the blockage, all of the behaviors that may be counteracting or destroying the possibility of you achieving what you want. That is far more efficient, that is far more effective, that is far more predictable than just acting as if. Just adding is not enough. You need to subtract, remove the things that are blocking you. Then you add, and that's the only thing remaining, rather than that has to fight against everything else that you've done your whole life. So remember, don't just act as if. Do not act as if not. That's the secret. And that is why values matter. So you can see what you may be doing that you're not aware of, so you can remove them. See you soon in the next episode.